Nothing. Girl. Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I done missed people coming in and going, coming and going. Sorry about that, y'all. But we here. Happy Mom Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Thank you for hitting the like. Whoever's here with me, let me know who is it. Is that you, Harlem? Who's in here tonight? Welcome. Come on in and hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that as well. I can never find. When y'all see whenever that live come on, y'all gonna see everything. I was not prepared, but I didn't want to go through. I didn't want to go through StreamYard tonight. I wanted to try the app, so here we are. I'll give everybody a few minutes to get on and catch back up with us. Welcome, welcome. If you're in here and you have not already done so, hit the like button, and then share this out. Interact with us, conversate with us. Oops, I knocked all these books over. Books. All my magazines. I knocked them over. Oh, there you are, Harlem. Hey, you made it. Let me plug this in really quick. Give me just a second. Plug this in. How you doing, Harlem? Hi, everybody. Come on in. This live won't be so long, but we had to do it. All right. Harlem, it seemed like it's going back slow again for us. Harlem, did it warm up where you are at all? Any? Still nice around here, thank goodness. Welcome in, everybody. As you come in, hit the like button for us. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We got a couple of things we're going to talk about. We're continuing to talk about Cardi B and Stefan. There's some more information that I want to see what you guys think about that we're learning about Cardi B and Stefan Diggs, as well as Nancy Guthrie, and what they found today. I'm sure that you guys, if you are on the internet at all, it's all over the place that some pictures have been released, video footage for that. Also, of course, we're going to talk about Rashona and chapters 5 and 6 a little bit, skim through those, and we'll be done for the night. So we had to stick to our schedule. So let's give it about 30 more seconds, and then 30, 60 more seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? Okay, me too. I'll be right back as well, and then we'll get started when we are both back, and everybody else can come on in here. Um, Seems like when we go live earlier, there's more people, but that's okay. We almost where we trying to get to. I forgot to turn the fan on. All right, I'm back. I'm ready to get started. So let me get my laptop together. Again, we're going to talk really quick about Cardi B and what we're learning about what is going on the internet. Um, Again, like I haven't heard Cardi B say anything, haven't heard Stefan Diggs say anything, but people have their rendition of what's going on in their lives. So let's just talk about it a little bit. All right, so y'all listen. Here's the deal. What we're learning about the relationship with Cardi B and Stefan Diggs is now this is just all alleged, and this is just what we're hearing. No one has confirmed it, but I really kind of believe that maybe they did break up for a little bit. But so sources are saying that um, Cardi B was expecting to get a um I just threw this wig on y'all. It's a mess. But Cardi B was expecting to be engaged to, right? If you're in here, welcome to the show. Welcome to my channel. Hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. Hey, right. We've been class and I just wanted to pop in. Okay, okay, thank you. See you next time. Have a good night and thank you for stopping by. Right. We always appreciate you so much. Anyway, sources are saying that Cardi B was expecting like maybe a Super Bowl engagement, and that but that Stefan and Cardi B have been arguing like all week leading up to the Super Bowl. And so what the speculation about the argument is that he was going to have another baby, is what I heard. And then we were hearing other things, right? Also that, and then Stefan was throwing fit, saying that Cardi B is the reason they lost the Super Bowl. Person detained. Oh my goodness, let's find it right now. Right now. Did they find the person? Was it the person at the okay, you guys, let's move from Cardi B and let's go to Nancy Guthrie really quick because we were going to talk about that. Guthrie breaking news right now. So they're just saying he's detained. Let me go back and try to share my screen. Thank you, Wright. Thank you so much. All right. So pretty much we have it here. All right, so here it is. Here it is. It says that in February the 1st, after she did not show up for church, and they're saying it wasn't for church. She was supposed to show up at a friend. Camera on here on the footage that we have that's showing her home and recovered surveillance footage of her possible abductor. The Guthrie family, including her daughter, NBC Today show co-host Savannah Guthrie, have released several videos on Instagram pleading for the return of their mother, who relies on medication and uses a pacemaker. The reported ransom notes passed. TMZ reported on February 10th there was movement in the alleged Bitcoin account referenced in a ransom note, which was an alleged deposit of $300. So I think probably that $300 was testing. It's making it lag. So I think the $300 coin was basically probably just kind of testing to see if that was really the account, if they would get a response from them. So then on tonight, Tuesday, February the 10th, investigations involving the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI have ramped up in the county. SWAT vehicles were seen leaving the sheriff's office just hours before the person of interest was detained. What we don't know is that the person of interest has not been identified, and it's unknown if the person seen in the surveillance footage is the person of interest. So basically that is happening right now. They just have bare minimum information, but there has been someone that has just been detained for questioning. So not sure what's going to become of that, but we want to continue to watch this story. This horrific story. I did have that up, but this is crazy. So what we were going to talk about is this picture, right? The pictures that was on the camera showed a man with his entire face, which you guys have already probably seen, his whole face covered. You could see inside of his face mask that he had a mustache and kind of had a beard. You could see that his eyebrows was kind of not thick eyebrows. I'll say that, not arched, but not thick eyebrows. They said it was weird how he was holding that pow in this holster. They said that if it would have been like a real professional, that person that carries a gun, it wouldn't have been in that kind of holster. They wanted to talk there. Now, here was something they also talked about. There was DNA on the porch, which they found out belonged to Miss Guthrie, and it was some blood stains on the porch. And they said that it was her DNA. So as we saw the video footage, we saw where this man right here, he walked up on the porch, and we guess it is a male. They have confirmed it is a male, but he walked up on the porch, and when he walked up on the porch, he walked with his head down. And they said a professional would have also been prepared for a camera to be on that porch. And what we saw in the video is that he was trying to cover up the video, and he tried to use his hands. He was trying to, so he walked away and went and got like some brush from the yard and tried to cover it up. So what they're saying is like, now they're kind of like looking at the DNA that was on the porch and saying, oh, but the brush fell on the porch, but there's the brush is under the blood, or vice versa. Either way, they're trying to say, yeah, that it was on top of the blood. There, or vice versa. I can't remember, but what the point was in it, it was that they were saying, was there already blood on her porch? Which I don't believe there was already blood on her porch. Can you guys not hear me? Oh, because of class. Okay. Okay, got you. So you can listen to it later, right? But there was, I don't believe I don't believe there was already DNA blood on her porch. I think that that happened when he took her out. But he tried to, they said that if he had this been really a professional, they would have been prepared to do away with the cameras and not have to wrestle, or be prepared to get it to somehow remove the camera, right? Where he was kind of tussling with the camera. Well, let me look at the chat. The wording matters. Just detained, not arrest. Exactly, detained. So I'm thinking like for questioning, they not for sure if that's really who it is, but he's just been detained, not arrested. But you know what I always say, the first person to talk gets the deal. So they got him first. And then Wright says, I can't hear you. Okay. He says, Harlem, absolutely. Any normal ransom we are here to expose Savannah. You think she's some wholesome author. Let me tell you what she's been doing behind the scenes, or something like that, right? That was just an example, y'all. Or communication only through emails, no explanation why, what she did, or what another family member has done. The craziest part about all of this, other bad actors are seeing this. Absolutely. And will follow this ultra weird, convincing playbook, causes confusion, delays, and no normal methods, and working just good old-fashioned police work. Absolutely. I agree with all of that. Right. And this is just all crazy. It's weird. It's all weird. So the whole question remains is why Savannah's mom? Why did they target her? And again, still, do we think this was an inside job? Do we think that it was an inside job? But then here's what makes me think maybe not an inside job, because had it been an inside job, he would have known that there was cameras, right? Outside, when you walk up on the porch, there's going to be a camera. So it's just weird. I just can't tell. But I mean, again, why would you take her? Was it something one of her children did? Was it because you knew that they had money? I still think inside, but I just wonder why. Yeah. You still think it's an inside job? So I was just thinking, like, maybe if it was an inside job, and like they were saying, they were looking at maybe the son-in-law. Would he had known? Of course, son-in-law would have known there's a camera there. But here's what I think happened also is they knew there were cameras there, but if it's an inside job, they also know that she didn't have that subscription and was thinking that the all of it was destroyed. Like there would be no way, once they broke those cameras down, there was no way that there was going to be footage that was being found. So then there was this forensics expert. He was on the CNN today, and he was saying that this is a 1% chance. So since she didn't have the subscription, they're saying that it was a 1% chance that they would have found any kind of footage. This was just the luck of the stroke, like a godsend that they found footage because she didn't have that subscription. Now, they were going to go after to see if they could find it, but they weren't sure that they were going to be able to return any footage because of that reason. Right says, that's me. And then, okay, I can hear you now. I just brought this up on my phone and put it in my ear. Okay. Yeah. So what we're thinking, right? Like, what is your thoughts? Do you think this is inside job? Do we think that maybe not an inside job because there was too many things that that happened that if it was an inside job that this person would have been prepared for? Do we think it's more than one person? Because they're saying if you look at the picture side by side, where they were standing, that one picture had one pair of shoes, and then the other picture had a different pair of shoes, but they had the same clothes on. I'm not too sure about if there's more than one person, but on the video, it just seemed to look like the same person. They also talked about that they were prepared in piling clothes on so that their body figure could not be identified, right? So if they pile on the clothes, they're not going to be able to identify the body type. So they were saying that. What else? It was a lot. This is huge. So today, while they're outside of Miss Guthrie's home, it's full of federal agents, FBI, sheriff, everybody's out there, right? A Domino's pizza man drives up, gets out, goes and knocks on the door, Nancy Guthrie's door, to deliver a pizza. Okay? Why, if this house is supposed to be under surveillance 24/7, how was it that this pizza man was able to just go through it was tons of people out there today. He was able to walk up to the door and ring the bell to figure out if the pizza was supposed to be delivered there. However, the reporter where I was watching stopped the pizza man, and he asked him, he's like, "Did you mean to deliver pizza here?" And he was like, "Yeah, this is the address they gave me." He was like, "Do you know where you are right now?" And he was like, "No." He was like, "You see all these media people out here, all these police out here?" He's like, "Is this the Nancy thing?" And he was like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, this is the address." And he said, "Okay, well, what's the name on it?" And it was some female's name. I can't remember. He said the name. So the pizza man was like, "Well, let me call her and see, am I in the right place?" Well, this was one of the reporters, the bloggers or whatever he is. It was one of his subscribers that put in his chat, "I'm going to send you lunch," because he said they was going to be out there all day. She said, "I'm going to send you a pizza." Well, he never read that. So he was like, "Why are you here? Like, do you know what you just walked into?" Well, she was just delivering him pizza. And she was like, when she was on the phone, she was like, "You didn't read your chat. I sent you pizza for lunch because you said you were going to be out there all day." So they was like freaking out. But still, the fact of the matter remains is that not one officer stopped to say, "Hey, don't go to that door. You could be unknowingly tampering with evidence there. Don't go up to that door." He made it all the way up to the door. No one stopped him. So that was kind of strange and ugly too. Like, you're supposed to be out here watching this property so that doesn't happen. So anybody could have walked up, and they didn't even stop him and say nothing to him. The reporter said something to him. Probably more than one person. Someone had to help Mama Guthrie out. If injured, she can't walk far. Exactly. She's 84. She has a pacemaker. Like, there's blood. So what happened inside that home? They also said that they're still trying to pull footage because there could possibly be footage from the inside of the home, where they could see what happened on the inside of the home prior to her being taken out while he was in the home. So that could be, I hope and pray that that's more footage, more pictures, more stills, more video that they can get to see who this is. They were like, it's not the cartel because the cartel is a little bit more, they're a bit more smarter than that. But to Wright's point, like these are what criminals look for. These kind of crimes that are splattered on TV. So, like, is this getting ready to be? You know how like the school shootings happen, and then it just became this trickle effect. Like, does this become a trickle effect? Like, do we like everybody just need to stay woke? I mean, period. If you have a mom that lives by herself, like whatever the reason, Don, who was that? I was gonna say Don Lemon, but it was somebody else. They was like, he was like, I can't remember who I was listening to, but he was like, he don't at night, if he goes home at night, he doesn't even, you guys hit the like button if you're in here for me, please. I appreciate it. He said if he's going home at night and he raises his garage up, he backs in instead of pulling straight forward because you don't know who's coming behind you, right? So back in instead of pulling straight forward. He said he has not been he has not thank you, right? He has not just drove straight head on into his garage. If it's nighttime, he's backed up in there because you can't see if somebody slides in there while you pulling in. You get out the car, it's over. It's just horrible that you got to live like this now. Also back in if you ever need your car, and that's true too. Like it could need a jump and you're faced all the way to the wall almost. So it's a lot. Let me see if there's anything else live that's happening here. Yeah, which that's what Wright says. As TMZ reports that a person of interest has been detained. And it says CNN added, this person has not been charged and they were located south of Tucson. ABC News stated that there is no indication that the person who was detained is the figure seen in the newly released video. So it just makes me wonder, like, who are they detaining? Who are they talking to and why? Here's this dang picture. I wanted y'all to see his eyes. Look at the eyes. Don't that just look so weird? Why? Why? They said that's a flashlight in his mouth where he's trying to see. He looks so scary, y'all. Can y'all imagine what that 84-year-old woman is going through? Like, woke up in the middle of the night being kidnapped. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that happened to her. I feel so bad for her. Surprised she didn't have a heart attack on spot. Already got a pacemaker. And where is she? Stop it already. They also said there was activity in the Bitcoin amount, but didn't say if it, yeah, they said they put $300 in there. And I was thinking that maybe that $300 was them trying to say, okay, we want to prove to you that we'll pay. So we're going to slide this $300 in there and see what becomes of that. But we've heard nothing else about it. I was trying to see if it's anything else. I think that's so whoever they have detained, I think it'll be questioning for hours, because they want to get to it. But like you said, if this person, let's just say this person is the person that this is a person that knows about the situation. Wait a minute, is the person detained the son-in-law? Oh my gosh. Tell us already. Wright says, I still said what I said. TV, film, real life. There are ways to do ransom on both sides. I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's horrible. When she comes home, they need to move her out of that house and move her in with one of them for life, for the rest of her life. Let me see, is it anything over here? Check this. Oh, all right, right, exactly. It's a lot of questions. Why are you doing this? What is your motive? What did we do? What do you want? Proof of life. Where are the dropping? Where are we dropping the money? How do we contact you? And on and on. Yeah, it's a lot of questions that need to be answered because it's just so weird that it just happened out the blue like this. So airing dirty laundry, finance, gossip, slander, or unnecessarily exposing the private sins and flaws of others, whether in person or social media. Okay, it's not on here. All right, y'all. Let me see. He said, "Yeah. Even if you don't get them all answered, you'll get some of them. Kidnapping usually profess their master plan. It's even called the the super villain speech. Mm. Wow, it's crazy. So anyway, we'll continue to follow this story and see what's next. What's next? So I'm thinking late tonight, early in the morning, we may have an update about the person that was detained. What next? What is next? I have so many questions. All right, so we'll move on. Thank you guys for being here. As you come in, go ahead and hit the like button. We are just talking about Miss Guthrie and the situations that's going on with her, her disappearance, all that. So now back to Cardi B really quick. So Cardi B has gifted, she said, gift from me to me. Cardi B flaunts diamond-studded watch ahead of Little Miss Drama Tour amid relationship speculations with Stefan Diggs. Cardi buys a 500K Audemars Piguet. How do you say that? I hope they find her, but I don't think so. It's been too long. I hope they find her too. I really do. I really do. So what is a Audemars Piguet watch ahead of her tour as Stefan Diggs breakup rumors trend after the Super Bowl. Here's what happened and why fans react. That's a nice watch, girl. $500K for a watch. Maybe if they have her meds, that would be the only way. Yeah, because I mean, the moment she was missing, Savannah came out and said she cannot go a day without her medicine. So there was no way for her to get her medicine. I mean, did she take her medicine with her? Did he let her take the medicine with her? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Cardi B grabbed headlines after she brought a luxury, whatever the name of this watch is, timepiece worth nearly $500K just days after fans noticed tension between her and NFL star Stefan Diggs. Instead of staying silent about her personal life, the rapper focused on celebrating herself and preparing for her upcoming concert tour. Reports highlighted that she treated the purchase as a personal milestone rather than a reaction to online chatter. In an Instagram reel shared by celebrity jeweler Benny, Cardi proudly showed off the sparkling watch while dressed in a bold black outfit. She described the buy as a motivation before stepping back onto the stage. She said, "A little giant for me from me," the 30-year-old rapper announced in an Instagram reel Benny posted Monday. So here's the watch, but I know I'm killing the name. I'm not saying it right. I'm not mad at that. Good for her. And I also said good for her for not coming on the internet talking about it. Just keep it pushing. She looks good. She got it going on. So, but that's Cardi B. So, other news, did you guys see that Glorilla she came out on Instagram and responded to her sister with just her mom and dad on the phone to prove that she does take care of her mom and dad. They can have whatever they want to have. That mom just chose to work on because she wanted to, and she was only working like 2 or 3 hours a day. So Glorilla has proved her point, and she's moving on. And now the sister is getting, I guess she's getting gigs from this, from airing out the family. Let's see what they're saying here.
CBS News Special Report. I'm Jesse Mitchell in New York. As we come on the air, a major new development in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The 84-year-old mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie went missing early February 1st and has been the subject of an intense search ever since. CBS News has learned now from 2 law enforcement sources the Pima County Sheriff's Department has detained a person of interest in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The person was detained in a city south of Tucson. We now turn to CBS's Jonathan Bigliotti for more.
And Jesse, sources telling CBS News that this detainment took place in a city south of Tucson. That is their words. Members of the regional SWAT team assisted the sheriff's department while making this detainment. It's unclear the identity of what they are now calling this person of interest, though they are now in police custody. This comes just after 8 hours ago when we received from the FBI video surveillance and photos of a person approaching Nancy Guthrie's home last Sunday morning, very early in those hours, and what appeared to be dismantling the video camera there on the doorbell. Officials have been scouring this area this entire afternoon, going door to door. We saw them here in this neighborhood, Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood, as well as her daughter's neighborhood, Annie, where she lives with her husband. They looked through certain areas as they were following tips. We know that hundreds of additional tips have come in, and clearly one of those tips leading them again to this person of interest taken into custody, detained, according to our two sources, in a city south of Tucson. Again, unclear if this is the same person that they were looking for in that video. And at this hour, it is still unclear where Nancy Guthrie is as this investigation continues.
So, right, they said, and I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but they say after 48 hours, it starts, I guess, the percentage rate of finding someone still alive and breathing, the percentages go way down after 48 hours of not being able to, locate that person. It just don't look good, but we can still have hope for them. Hope that she comes back to them the way she left, because that's crazy. Anyway, I keep flopping back and forth to both the topics, Cardi and Nancy. Sorry, y'all. So anyway, let me move on. I'm going to just talk really quick about Roshona, and then we can go for the night. I have something I still need to do. But we'll keep you posted with shorts or whatever until we come back on Friday. And I will be posting, like, since we are not live Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be posting probably my reading of the chapters that we have not read. And so we can keep moving on with it. So, right, this may not be your cup of tea, but we're going to talk about Roshona 5 and 6, and then we're going to go. So you can hang out if you want to and respond. We love your take on things. So not really long chapters. So yeah, they're not long at all. So here's chapter 5. Let's get started on. So as you guys come in, again, I'll say hit the like button if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Share this out. I'll message you if you're hearing. Okay, thank you. If anything new, let me know. And get back to class. Be a good student. And then let us know. Okay, right? Thank you for stopping by. All right, you guys. So let's get into Roshona. Let's get into chapter 5 and 6. We've talked about it all the way up to now. So she titled chapter 5, The Devil in the Details. Because I didn't read it yet, I'm going to read through it really fast. We'll talk about it. So if we don't get to 6, it'll be on there tomorrow on a recorded video. All right. So the devil in details. In addition to the 10 commandments, no glasses in here. Now y'all know. Let me take a really quick stop to go get some glasses. I'll be right back. Again, y'all, come on in, hit the like button. Thank y'all for being here. This is going to be a short live tonight. So I'm going to go grab some glasses so we can discuss Roshona real quick, and then we'll go. And because I got some research to be doing on Nancy Guthrie. So give me just a second. Be right back. Got to go get the glasses. I don't know how to turn the camera off, so. All right, I'm back. I do, and then I walk off with them. I walk off with them in every room once I have them in every room. So I didn't have them today. All right, so here we go. In addition to the 10 Commandments, my family had eight more. Kids were to. So she said, in addition to the 10 Commandments, my family had 8 more commandments. Kids were to fear God, that is, be scared of him. Respect your elders, including parents, older relatives, teachers, and folks at church, even if you don't agree with everything they say. Not suck your teeth or roll your eyes at an adult, or you might get slapped. Say grace before meals, even when eating out. Say your prayers at night because you could die before you wake up. And everything on your dinner plate, eat everything on your dinner plate because there are kids starving in this other countries. Say please and thank you. Not going in grown, not get and do not get into grown folks' business. When our 18th commandment chiseled into our minds and the blood of Jesus purifying our hearts, my church-going family was saved and sanctified. All of us were, my cousins, my aunts, uncles included. I must have been 6 or 7 years old when I first heard one of my older relatives mention the great cloud of witnesses. As an adult, I now know the phrase comes from Hebrews 12:1, which talks about all the godly folk who came before us and now are cheering us on from heaven as we get to try to live godly lives ourselves. But when I was a kid, I was sure the cloud of witness was made up of my family's holy rollers here on earth, especially Dad's parents. Pastor and first lady of the church were attended, and my mom's father, who was a deacon there. It was through a super saved family elders. It was through my super saved family elders that I learned the importance of choosing God's path to salvation, the narrow gate, instead of the wide gate that led to everything bad and sinful. For years, I couldn't for the life of me figure out why God would make the path to him so narrow. And even though I knew that God liked to forgive us of our sins, I wasn't sure that he'd keep forgiving me if I committed the same sins over and over again. I wish I could have asked Grandpa Bo, but or even checked in with Mom or Dad to see if they knew, but I didn't have the courage to ask. Yes, courage. As simple as my question seems, and as easily as it would have been to get my answers, the truth is that I didn't grow up questioning adults about the things they said. Adults were to be respected and believed. The rules were to be followed. See Commandments 12, 13, and 18. And since I already knew that God was supposed to be obeyed and I kept slipping up in that department, if a respected adult said something about God, every instinct inside of me made me fear God and shame myself into silence for the added sin of questioning God's instruction spoken through an authority figure. By this time, I was about 15. I was clear. I was a sinner. It was clear. I was clear. I was a sinner with a capital S. But my understanding of faith, forgiveness, free choice, and my family's picture perfect holiness wasn't. Further complicating all of that was a poem I had recently studied in school, Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. It seemed that the road that wasn't taken was the better road, but for some reason, the writer had chosen the one that was worse. Why did he choose the wrong road? How long did it take before he realized he had chosen poorly? And had he chosen the wrong road because it was wide? I wondered all these things about myself as much as I did about the poet. But even though I wanted to ask my teacher, I felt too embarrassed to ask in front of my classmate. And I feared that asking my parents would make them suspicious about why I was asking. So instead, I quietly wrestled with the road I had chosen that led me to the relationship with Robert and the wide gate and the broad roads of lies, deception, and confusion that became my life. What if I had chosen the other road? Would I be sad like the poet? Would I have missed not having a secret, actual relationship with Robert? Or would my life have been better? What made this all the more perplexing was that the road I was on, wide and sin-filled as it was, felt narrow and constricting. I second-guessed every feeling I had or idea I thought. Everything I said and did had to be approved by Robert. That is, everything except for my participation in my group for the cause. Sure, it was stressful having to hold in so many lies about my life. I could hardly talk to my cousins about normal teen stuff or anything at all, really. I was always afraid they'd ask me if I had a boyfriend or liked someone, and I'd have to tell another convincing lie. The more lies I told, the more I had to keep track of, because if I didn't, I might get caught in a lie later and life could start to blow up in my face. Don't get the grown business, but it's okay. My mind was saying the same thing, and I made note of that so we could talk about it. Don't get in grown folks' business, but yet this grown folk is talking to you about, the grown folks are talking about you to you about grown folks stuff, putting you in predicaments that only grown folks should be in. Didn't make sense. Didn't help that Robert would guilt trip me whenever I was away from him, or for more than a couple of days. But for the cause was mine. It was the only thing I did in my life that had nothing to do with Robert. My phone rang 4 times before I picked it up. Did you speak to your parents about what we discussed yesterday? Robert didn't bother to say hello or make small talk. No, Daddy. My voice eked out of me. I was afraid he might yell at me. He didn't. I pulled my bed covers over the top of me like a tent. Listen, Sho, I've been thinking heavy about us, about our love. You know, that right here is so special. We got to protect it, even if we got to do things we wouldn't normally do. His voice cracking on the last syllable. He paused and sniffled into the phone. I imagined he was crying. I was too. My body pulled into a ball under my covers. I became hot. I kicked my covers off and looked around the room. The tears in my eyes made all my shiny basketball trophies and school plaques look like a blurry kaleidoscope of colors. My first breathing was amplified by the phone. I couldn't trust myself to answer, so I didn't. I knew where the conversation was heading. Baby, I know you're sad, but think about me, about us. We got to keep this quiet around you. We got to keep things quiet around you so nobody starts tripping you up, or me either, with all them photographers taking high quality pictures of you out on the tour with the group. He said that group, like the name of my group was a curse word he wouldn't force himself to say. I sighed in the phone. Sho, yes, Daddy. I need you to hear me good. He paused long enough to oblige me to listen with my whole body. At this point, the group you in is a liability. I mean, it's time for you to cut out as many wild cards as you can and simplify your life. We don't need niggas trying to charm their private parts inside you when I ain't around. We just need you to fly under the radar. You know, you can't do that if you rapping center stage at some concert in Germany or some ish. I know what these men want from you, Sho. How can I protect you? All I want to do is protect you, baby. My tears were flowing faster than I could wipe them. I know it's hard, Sho. Robert cut me off. I get it. But as an artist, you know you got to make tough decisions sometimes. Cut your losses when ain't right for you no more. When things ain't right for you no more. But I like rapping with my cousins. I like touring with the group. See, you coming with that I like SH again. Damn, Sho. Look, real artists do that don't like. I need to just say the word, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm going to just say it. Real artists do shit they don't like all the time. What's that group getting you now? Sure, you've toured around Europe a bit and you had some fun for a while, but what else? Don't nobody even know you in America. I mean, not for you. You're rapping with the group. I bet you met more stars hanging around my studio than you've ever met as a Black girl rapper in effing Italy. And if you want the latest Jordans or whatever, you ain't got to rap for them or even ask your parents. You know Daddy will get them shits for you. So what's the point in jumping on a plane to rap for folks who don't understand a dang thing you're saying? Besides, I bet it costs y'all more money than you make to go on tour in Europe. And that don't even make sense, he snickered. I couldn't figure out how to respond to any of Robert's claims, so I said nothing. For all I knew, he was right. After all, For the Cause wasn't being called for gigs like we were when I was little. I was still short, but I wasn't a novelty like I was when I was spitting bars out of my 10-year-old mouth. I started biting at the corner of my pointer finger until it bled. Then I bit down on it to make it stop. I looked around my bedroom. and the yellowing music posters on my walls, the janky cassette recorder that had been my parents' 13th birthday gift for me, and my Sony Discman, brand new Averack jacket, and limited edition Jordans still sitting in a heap of the middle of my floor where I had dropped them. I stared at my pile of CDs from every artist who had come to Robert's Chicago track studio, and thought about the smile plastered on my face when Robert surprised me and I walked into the vocal booth only to find Usher, my celebrity crush. My eyes bounced over to the photos sticking in the corner of my mirrors of me cheesing with Trinity Fit 5'7", the Isley Brothers, Selena Johnson, Ja Rule, and Jay-Z. My mind somersaulted through all the times I had received VIP treatment in Chi-Town. It was never because I was the pint-sized rapper in the For the Cause, and always because I was Robert's goddaughter. And I thought about the overwhelming and sometimes scary love that Robert poured into my body and fed to my mind with his silver tongue and knowledgeable hands. All the nicest things I ever owned were gifts from Robert. All my best experiences in recent memories were slipped through Robert. It was as if Robert had upgraded my former life and every path led to him. This is what they want you to think. The person who controls you, berates you, calls out your name, and makes you feel insecure. They want you to believe that every road to your dreams lead to them. They want you to be great. They won't let you be great. And then they gaslight you into thinking it's because there's no greatness in you. Sometimes they use their money, fame, and influence to make you small in your own eyes. They keep reminding you that you can't afford the lifestyle they can provide you with, and they convince you that you never will. Sometimes the gifts are smaller: the wig, the bag, the piercings, the concert tickets, or maybe it's the clothing they require you to wear or the food they get for you to eat. But stuff isn't the only way they get into your head. It's the middle looks. It's the snide looks that say you're trash, that you're unworthy. The words thrown at you like an axe to your heart. The love withheld, the dream shut down, the opportunities that make you give up. Sometimes it's forcing you to have a baby or not to have one, or to forego your education, bury your talent, second guess your own intuition. Maybe you don't recognize your own abuse because you think it can only look like a slap across the face, or that R word only happens between strangers on a dark road. Perhaps you think that the schoolyard is where bullying occurs, so you don't see how you're being exploited. You may have learned that love is a word that makes you obligated to comply and be grateful, but love's an action. It's patient and kindness, and envy or boastful. Not envy or boastful. Love doesn't dishonor you, belittle you, or try to keep you stuck and make you beg. When they tell you that they make your life better as yourself, do they bring pain or comfort to your body, encouragement or stress to your mind, and peace or turmoil to your spirit? Don't take their word for it either. Remember, your peace of mind is worth more than any material gift someone might dangle in front of you. And love doesn't come with strings attached. Give yourself permission to love who you are right now. Even if you don't have all you want, and haven't realized all your dreams, you're still enough. Just by being here. You offer the world a light that no one else can shine. Returning my mind to the conversation, I could imagine Robert's self-satisfied smile. Right, baby. Now you're understanding me. You don't need no one more. You don't need one more thing from the group. Not one more. It's done. Ran its course. Show. Every day you're on the road is another day you can slip up and say something and say some shit we both gonna regret. Besides, when you're gone, I miss you, baby. You my best one. Robert licked his lip loudly through the phone. I frowned, but he couldn't hear that. I can just about taste you right now, Show. He licked them again. What more important than our love? I felt a shiver run through me despite myself. It's not more important. Then why are you willing to have these conversations, Show? The silence over the phone line was oppressive. Look, I got people in the vocal booth waiting for me to get back to it, I'm sorry, but I can't keep sitting here listening to you breathe when you know, like I do, what needs to happen. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, daddy. Man, SH. That's all you got? Has this GD conversation been a waste of my GD time show? Robert's voice was a hiss. No, daddy, it's just look, have I ever steered you wrong? I effing love the SH out of you. You my best girl. Why I even got to say that? His voice cracked. He sighed. In my mind's eye, I could see his shoulders slumping, the heaviness of his words weighing him down. Check it, y'all. I know this effing sucks right now, but we're worth it, baby, and I believe in you. He sent a loud kiss through the phone. Will you tell your parents you're leaving the group? Yes, daddy. Okay, now. And what you gonna tell them? That I don't want to keep traveling and missing school. That I want to be regular teenager and group. I want to be a regular teenager and that the group feels like a waste of time. That's what I'm about, show. I could hear him smiling. You and Diamond, baby. You a diamond, baby. Look, I got a jet, but remember, I'm sending you all kinds of love and strength and everything. I'm as close to you as your mom, as your mind. Know that. Yes, daddy. I got off the phone feeling drained. I knew what to say to my parents, but wouldn't my explanation raise eyebrows? I didn't do that. I didn't do it that night. I couldn't. I was afraid. I was afraid I would cry, that the words in my mind wouldn't come out of my mouth right. Robert didn't take the news of my delayed conversation well. While our first few conversations had been mostly encouraging and full of reminders of how important our love was, the following pep talk was full of expressions of disappointment and implied threats. I knew I could go another day without doing what he told me to and risk physical discipline to go with his verbal reprimands that cut down to the bone. The trauma of the conversation, of fearing my parents' reaction on the one hand and Robert's wrath on the other. He made it hard for me to remember some of the specifics of it even now. What I do remember is my queasy stomach full of intimidation as I looked for a way to sit them down and convince them that I no longer wanted the one thing in my life that was still mine and not Robert's. Ironically, I feared that my decision would somehow shine a spotlight on my situation with Robert because maybe they'd realize it was his words coming out of my mouth. The conversation was awkward because the lies rang so loudly in my own head. I miss going to school dances and hanging with my friends. I want a normal social life. I watched my parents' face twitch from the pain of my words. They were thinking it in, believing me. They agreed with some of my points and accepted my decision. They took the tears in my eyes and the tears of relief as tears of relief, but I was grieving. Telling my cousins I didn't want to perform with them anymore was as difficult as telling my parents. I could see the hurt on their faces. My words implicated them. My rationale sounded like they weren't worth my time anymore and made everyone question what the cause was and why any of us were ever committed to it. Needless to say, the moral of the group and my relationship with my cousins both took a hit. For the remaining year or two, for the cause continued to exist, the group filled my old spot with another cousin who favored me in terms of her physique and rapping ability. But unfortunately for her, when the SH hit the fan with the videotape of Robert and my couple of years, and me a couple of years later, some of the internet bullying intended for me ended up being directed at my cousin. Every now and again, she still sometimes get hate messages for me. Robert had a lot of rules, and following them took lots of energy because our relationship was supposed to be a secret. Although by 1999, many members of the staff knew, though they were sworn ignorance, I would have to switch up at any time of the day or night and act the part of Robert's goddaughter that he wanted me to play. His 5 biggest rules were: don't make eye contact with any man, no talking to men other than my dad or grandpa without Robert there, No calling Robert daddy in front of people. Be pleasant but not chatty so my interest won't make someone think I'm flirting. Don't wear clothing that shows my cleavage or shape, and wear platform shoes to appear taller and older. The mental prep that it took to be so many different versions of myself was exhausting because sometimes I had no idea who Robert wanted me to be. If I messed up by talking too much or too little, acting too interested or too bored, Robert might punish me. So sometimes I would just try to avoid people or pretend to be sleepy so I didn't have to speak too much. Once, when I was in the common room backstage at one of Robert's concerts, there were a bunch of friends, family, and staff standing around, and a long table loaded with lots of sandwiches, drinks, and other refreshments. George Daniels called out to me. I dropped my head and acted as if I couldn't hear him. Sean, did you hear me? He spoke louder and stooped down to my level. Of course I heard him. Of course I knew him. George Daniel was legendary in Chicago, in the Chicago music scene, the godfather of Chicago music, who was responsible for launching so many music careers. His West Side store, George's Music Room, was a required stop for any Black artist promoting their latest album, and a place I grew up visiting with Dad. But now I was seeing George Daniels at Robert's concert in my role as Robert's goddaughter. Without Robert to referee the conversation, I knew I couldn't talk to him, no exceptions. Afraid of breaking Robert's rules, I whipped my whole body around and started talking to a woman on staff with Robert in a desperate move to avoid speaking. Rashona, he bellowed. Dropping my head even lower, I kept my mouth closed. Offended and possibly a little tipsy, he got in my face. Are you kidding me right now? Are you really ignoring me? I felt the stares of everyone there burning my skin. My face got hot. No, I'm not. Hi, I whispered, tears threatening to spill from my eyes. Then I ran away. Later at the studio, Robert chastised me. Why didn't you just speak? Because I thought I wasn't supposed to, Daddy. If you were thinking at all, you would have just said hi. Instead, you made yourself look stupid. In the beginning, Robert put so much energy into earning my trust and making me invested in what I believed was a real romantic relationship. So even as his demands became greater and so much started to not feel good, I was conflicted. What added to my confusion was that he made sure that some things felt good, very good. After all, if everything felt bad, then I might have broken my resolve to take his secrets to my grave. Robert would treat me to nice things, shopping sprees, dinners out, going to the movies or something, or some other fun thing. The latest sneakers, jewelry. Somewhere inside of me, I believed that a relationship was kind of like hazing. You grit your teeth and cry your way through the bad stuff to reap the good stuff. And Robert had the money frame. And Robert had the money, fame, and the power to back up his words with lots of good gifts. I know you see what I didn't. I know you see what I didn't. Part of his strategy was to buy my silence. But to me, he was showing me love. He taught me that we each had a role in our relationship. I gave him my body, mind, heart, and obedience. In return, he gave me sense of value and worthiness. He professed love, a place of priority on his long list of actual partners, public bragging rights with my friends and classmates, insider access to the music world, and the big ticket gifts that my parents could never buy me. I gave Robert all that I was. He gave me his crumbs, and every crumb had a receipt. That's 5. We can stop there because 6 is receipts. Robert was both my drug and my drug dealer. I'd feel glorious in one moment and fearful in the next. He sometimes acted like I was his rug too. He even used the alias of Mary Jane to refer to me. The highs felt amazing and the lows were a lonely corner of hell. I was always scared that someone would knock on the door, that someone would find out somehow, and I wasn't just afraid we'd be caught in the act when it was happening. I was scared they'd see the videotapes. Yes, videotapes with an S. Once Robert hoodwinked me into doing something, he would videotape it. he take everything. So you know I love you. So you know I love how you loving me, baby. He looked at me like there were more to say, so I waited. I don't want it to end. I don't want to lose it, you know? He nodded for me. So we're gonna be recording from now on. In chapter 6 is where they started making the videos and recording. So anyway, pretty much it's just really like the same stuff. She tells us, she gets into like I mean, this whole from 1 to 5 that we've already done was just a bunch of him telling her what to do, how to do it, when to do it, yelling at her if she got it wrong. She has to keep his secrets. Like that's what it's all about. And if she don't, she'll be reprimanded. But now the so now Sparkles has called DCFS, whatever you call it, DHS, child welfare. And so now he wants her to stay quiet. So he's buying her gifts. He's training her on what to say. So it's really like all the same stuff. All the stuff is happening the same. So then in chapter 6, she's going to give us the receipts, is what it's labeled. So, or what it's titled. So we'll get to chapter 6. Basically, chapter 5 was just basically where now the only thing that she had left was forecast. And she had to let forecast go because he's afraid if she gets out there too far, somebody will grab her up, and then everything that they have gone through will be told. Like she's going to tell. So when she said that he started keeping his thumb on her, making her stay closer to him, like keeping her secluded. Well, she almost wanted to be secluded because she was so scared of what she might say wrong. If somebody asked her something, she might get it wrong. And then she would get reprimanded, or she might give them up. She was scared that if they were in the act, somebody might walk in. Like this little girl at that age had to be so many people in one person. Then when we get around everybody else, you're just the goddaughter. Don't call me daddy. None of that. Like it was HELL for her. HELL. And at the end of the day, it sounds like from reading this, at the end of the day, he was just worried about keeping his name clean. He did not want to be found out. So if he was able to keep her wrapped around his finger, then he would be okay. His name, his brand would be okay. And so he had to make sure that she was holding his secrets. And the only way that he could do that is start keeping her away from people. That's chapter 5. So anyway, I kind of read ahead, and it's going to be interesting when we get to the conversations that she had with her father. Because if you guys remember, I said I'm kind of side-eyeing her dad and her mom too, but her dad. So we'll get into I was about to ask you that. Don't get it. I was about to ask you that. About ask me what? Yep, I do. I can't help it. But I do. And because I'm just like, when you start reading it, I want to know what's next, then what else? Because it just seemed like this, it seems like this whole just deeper and deeper, or more and more pulling her away from people, more and more of asking her to do things against her will, to let go of everything that she had to hold on to. And then the conversations with her dad is just, and I didn't realize that dad passed away before he could even get on the stand. He was like going to be the one that talks to the investigators to get on the stand, and all that. So yeah, I'm reading ahead because I do want to know. We're halfway through though. We're almost done with this book. So tomorrow, since we're not going to be, since we don't go live tomorrow, I'll do a couple of shorts for chapter 6 and 6. Then Thursday do the same, so we can move along and get done with this book, because I feel like we're just beating a dead horse as I continue to read it. But it gets us to the court date. It talks a little bit about in chapter, what chapter is this? This is chapter, in chapter 12, which is titled Tremors, it gives us like her being on the stand, what they ask her and what her responses are. Ooh, I want to read it to y'all right now, but that's going to be interesting to hear what was actually said in the courtroom. And there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The court thing goes on and on. That's going to be interesting to me, is to see what went on in court. But you see, this is before the tape was put out there. And TMZ is saying it is not. TMZ is saying it's not a family member. Okay, then who is it? Did they say who, what, when, where? And then Harlem says, so she doesn't talk about anything on the parents as far as the threats. They did not say who. Okay. Ooh, I can't wait to know. So she didn't talk about the threats or anything, but I think what's going to really be interesting is to get to hear what was said in court, actually from her point of view. That's going to be good. Or losing jobs. So why were they being paid from the beginning? See, and then, so with that question, Harlem, right? So then when you hear the conversation later on in the book, he says that, I'm just going to say it, we're giving it away, but people probably already read it. But in the book, he later on says that, why did I do this? Like, why did I let this happen? Because he was R. Kelly. Because he was R. Kelly. That was his answer. That was one of his answers. Held accountable, and it just doesn't seem she is. She's not holding her parents accountable. She's actually protecting them. She's protecting them. There's a reason why they did it, or this is why they did it, and I understand why, because he didn't, she's protecting her parents. Hey, April Showers. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. It's been a few days since we've seen you. But yeah, they have to be held accountable. It just doesn't seem like it. And I think that was like with a bunch of parents, a couple of set of parents, right? That was not held accountable. But in this, according to her words, it's like she's protecting her family, protecting her parents. Because when you hear the conversation with her and her dad, he knew it was at a point where he knew, and he he almost admits that I know what was going on, but you seemed happy. Or I thought he really loved us. Or I thought he really accepted us as family. Or you remember this? Remember when he gave us this? So, yeah. Exactly. Listen, for my daughter to even think about even just visiting for her friend for a couple of hours, get her mom on the phone. When I drive over there, I walk her to the door, right? What we got going on up in here? Ain't no spending the night. Be back to get you a couple hours. Exactly. So I don't know. It hit different when your child tells you they will unalive themselves. That hit different to me. Yeah, and she did. She threatened to do that. And that's scary because she was so infatuated with him. So would she literally try to do that if something, was to happen? And those are the questions like in the parent's mind, right? Well, dang, if I do this, would she really do that to herself? Would she really try to unalive herself? So it does. Yeah. She told them she would unalive herself. I wouldn't take that risk. Yeah, she did. She told him that. Harlem says, I get it, April. That means you take your child for an evaluation, not leave them with a stranger. Oh. You just can't, I don't know. I just feel a way that, I don't know. I guess I keep beating the dead horse because I'm saying that my child just wouldn't have not even ever been there alone. Never would have been there alone. 12 years old, 13 years old, 14. No, that's just not what we doing. Everybody had a motive. Everybody had a motive. And she was in the middle of it. It's my opinion. Sparkle had a motive. Mom and daddy had a motive. Dad even said, I just was looking at it like I had a steady check. A check. Go get it. You already playing for gospel singers, worldly, secular, and gospel singers. Why you just got to stay there when you know that's happening? Go get another job. No, I just feel like it's no excuse for it. Period. Should have never happened. Should have never just pulled up and dropped her off because it's Robert's house. And he'll also talk about he knew it was wrong because Robert was married and it was wrong for them to be together, but she seemed like she loved him. He loved her. It seemed like he genuinely was protecting her. So that's why. So let me see. I feel like in chapter 5 also, and you'll see it in chapter 6 too, she's starting to like feel like this don't feel good no more. She's starting to feel like when he's on the phone talking to her, calling her baby and saying, I love you, you my best, girl or whatever. And she's rolling her eyes because now he has already started the reprimanding her, like punishing her, talking crazy to her, all those things whenever things didn't go the way he wanted to. So it's starting to not be fun anymore. But now she's in it, so she don't know how to get out. It's a messed up situation. Everyone should be held. Everybody. I just said that. I was talking to my husband about it. I was like, everybody should have went to jail. Like, they should have went to jail. He should have went to jail by himself. There are co-conspirators. There are co-conspirators. For sure. And it's the people that she said was there that could have helped her, that turned a blind eye, that knew what was going on. The aunt, the cousin, the aunt, it don't matter who you are. They are Andrea Kelly. Accountability. So, all right. As I said, we will have chapter 6 posted tomorrow. And still we'll talk, just kind of high level talk about it, but we need to move on and get done with it. I think we just need to be done with it. I'm ready to get to the court case to see what all was said and talk about that as well. As Jane. And then it said, yes, I believe Sparkle put her in a situation to go sit in his lap, right? I believe she did say that. Even though Sparkle saying she didn't say that, I believe she did do that. And then she said that's what my fight for him was about, because Sparkle enticed that girl to do that to him. And we talked about this last night, April, because Sparkle went and she was the backup singer for Aaliyah. She saw that he was helping Aaliyah and cutting out. Aaliyah was cutting albums. Aaliyah was coming up and Robert was helping her. So she thought, we're going to set Shona up and have him help her come up just like he helped Aaliyah. But it just wasn't going to work like that. There was nobody coming after Aaliyah. Obviously, nobody else did. Not even Sparkle. From the beginning, she groomed him. Yep. But she'll never say it. She's never going to admit to that. Never going to say that. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go for now. Thank y'all for being here and having the conversation. I don't know. I might go live tomorrow. It just depends. If it's slow for me tomorrow with the magazine or whatever, we could go. I may go live, but if not, I'll have my shorts. I'll have it recorded and loaded. Other than that, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all back here. Wait a minute. Sparkle will never admit. Hell, she doesn't say she left her. That's what Harlem's point was. Like, she didn't never even say she had a husband, right? So she's not going to be honest about that. So if for me, it feels like this is your opportunity to go ahead and be honest about everything. Like, if we trying to heal and move on, then everybody need to lay it out on the table. Everybody need to lay it out on the table. If we all heal and we want to move on past this, let's just everybody be honest. Else you're just going to walk and carry that, knowing that you did that. And when you hear the story, when you told her to go sit on that man's lap and rub his head because you knew what your motive was, but you saying that when you brought him to them, it was all for good reason, for the whole family to be better. That's it. Yep. That's it. A mess. All right, y'all. We done? She met R. Kelly through public announcement. Yeah. Yep. She's a liar. She be lying. April, I believe her. I believe what Rashona is saying. I believe what she's saying. And that's just is what it is. I believe what she's saying. There you will hear like people say, well, but she didn't know her age and her timeline or whatever. I believe her. I believe she's telling us what she went through, what happened. And the only way she's going to heal, the only way she gets past it is that she share it. And she's never come out and talked. And people say, well, people have said, well, why come out now after everybody else have come out and said what they had to say? She can come out whenever she gets ready to. That's her story to tell. People were always trying to tell Rashona's story, but she gets a chance to tell her story the way she lived it and saw it and breathed it and believed it. And I believe her. I believe her. Yeah. So we'll be back talking about it until we get to the end of the book. And then we move on. And I hope that this becomes a bestseller. I think it's on its way to doing that. So yeah, I believe her. Don't be mad at me because I believe her. All right, y'all. I hope that y'all have a good night. April, hope you can come back. Thank you, everybody, for being here. People that stopped in and for a little second, thank y'all too. Hit the like button on your way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. And we'll see y'all the next time. Y'all have a good night, okay? Good night, everybody. She filled a lot of gaps in stories. Yeah. She I know I said good night, but real quick, she also, I feel like she confirmed some stuff that people were like, I wonder. So like things people were wondering or things that people were saying that wasn't quite the right way, the way it happened. Like nobody can tell your story, your life story, right? So I feel like she's given us a lot of information. And she said she didn't come to spare nobody. She's not sparing anybody. And she's naming names. So, all right. We could talk about this all night. All right, y'all. Good night. I'm going to go. Talk to y'all later, tomorrow, whenever.